my name is Shanaz Diet. This video is going to be for my sports management outdoor adventure video. So my title for my program is called Leadership with Horses. Technically, I would have liked my grown horses to do this, but it's pretty much the same concept. I'm going to utilize my babies that we just got a couple weeks ago. Over there we have Gretchen. She is half quarter horse, half Belgian draft, and over here, who I'm going to utilize as my assistants, is Bijou, which she is a half quarter horse Percheron cross. So these girls are only about 6 months old, and they're going to finish out about 16 hands. So they're going to be pretty big girls. Right now, in regards to with like leadership, when it comes to leadership, especially like with corporations, is going to be my biggest focus as far as the population that this program would focus toward, as well as businesses. When for us, just to give you a little bit of a behavioral history, humans are known as far as being the predators, as well as for dogs, packs, how we hunt. But for horses, for them, they're herd animals, which they're prey animals. So the biggest thing that horses look for is that strong leadership. And if there's no leadership, you're not going to have a good horse by any means. The horse is going to see you through like a mirror of where you lack. And what's so nice in regards to why I find this program so unique is the simple fact that when it comes to, just drew a blank, when it comes to leadership is that the dynamics of just there's a big translation that carries over. Oh my gosh, I have to do this over. Can I get a cut? Do you know? When it comes to leadership, you're going to either have for the leader or the follower. With horses, they have to have strong leadership, and if that leadership is not established at a very early onset, you're going to have problems. And the same thing would go in corporations, is to establish that leadership role, because if not, there will be no trust, as well as you have to be when it comes to that leadership, be direct in your communication as to what you want. So the same thing applies with horses. Be direct and also take on that role, that leadership role, because if not, in their mind is are you in charge or am I in charge? And in this case, you don't want the horse to be in charge. Right now, I'm working with Bijou, getting a little bit more desensitized. We were working on her earlier. I didn't want to utilize that clip because she was kind of jumping all over the field when I was practicing this, where I would just take this rope. And the other thing too, with the leadership aspect, is patience. It just shows every horse is different. Like earlier, I did the rope desensitizing, which I'll show you here in a minute, with Gretchen. No problem. She didn't bounce around or dance around. Now Bijou, on the other hand, it took a minute, but that's the same thing like in any corporations, where you just take that little minute there in order just to get used to it. So I'm going to go ahead. She's now going to be good about this. So, good girl. Put her on her legs. There we go. Good girl. That's what I want. So, earlier you had the dancing Cinderella. Me and her going round and round. So now she's nice and calm. Because before it wasn't like that before. Now, also too, in the dynamics of my frames that I have with my program is first establishing the leader and the follower. In this case, you want to establish being the leader with that direct communication. And then the second aspect of it is also too is that you don't want it to be a mechanical relationship. You want to have that understanding. But again, with that type of relationship, you have to also have that communication involved. And the reason I like utilizing horses, because I feel that with the program versus the classroom setting, you're always the classroom setting, you could pretty much doze off, and then you only maybe retain 10% of what in a classroom setting, versus with going outside in the outdoors and say you utilize animals, horses, and even dogs, and you can go about where you're going to retain a lot more with that. Where are you going? Huh? Where are you going? Where are you going, baby girl? Oh, you're going to be a star in my show. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to retain a lot more, as well as building that teamwork aspect that you see a lot in, like, for a lot of team buildings. But what makes it nice and unique, you're going to utilize it with your furry friends. Come on, bubs. And then the other thing is that you also know if we're like confronting without offending. You're going to also learn too with horses, they're very sensitive. They go off of, like, heard the aversion of emotional intelligence, EQ, where a lot, again, you utilize that in the behavior human sense of being able to read body language. Horses are the same way, and they know when somebody's just upset, uptight, they're going to be upset and uptight. But when you're nice and you're just that calm, relaxed, their head's going to be low. And she's just sitting here, like, if I could in a little bit, she'd probably fall asleep, because she's done that quite a bit. And her eyes get nice, and the thing too, you know, when they're relaxed is when their eyes just come settle down and the head comes down. And the thing goes with people, you could read them, you could carry it over. So it's just that whole transition of energy going behind that. Then the other frame of it is also to the tolerance of that for the teaching and training of development. Like I just showed you right now, where it didn't bother her before, where I was just flipping the rope all around her, but before, hence why I didn't show this in the video, because I didn't know how long it was, because she was a lot more sensitive about it, how she felt, okay, the rope is not going to eat her. And that's pretty much what the horses look at when you introduce new things to them, is wondering, hey, they're also that fight or flight response is, hey, is this rope going to eat me? Something that simple. But as you can see, she's just now real calm about it. And the same thing goes, again, going back to the training and development aspect of it, where you just got to be patient with the people that you're with, because when that happens, trust is finally developed. And from there, oh, they start noticing some stuff's getting late. And then from there, you build on that with the relationship. So there's a lot that you can learn with horses when you exchange, because it becomes teamwork in the end, where these guys are amazing animals that could teach a lot. And the same aspect applies in the corporations. When you're, hey, what are you doing? When you're working together and keeping that direct communication, because when you build that and you build the trust along the way, you have yourself a very loyal companion that he knows or she knows that she can count on you. And the same applies with horses, with that strong aspect of leadership. This concludes. I pretty much would have liked to give you a little bit of the bigger animal, but the principle is it's same, big or small, where that trust gets established and showing the role of you're taking that leadership role, because they will walk all over you. And the same thing applies in the corporate world. If you don't take that leadership position, you will be, it's just, again, nature of the beast. So, that being said, that concludes my presentation.